What's up everyone, this is Bill with BLRTUNING. Today we are out here with the H2. This is the brand new Kawasaki UTV, the TERYX 5 H2. This is the Deluxe ES model. Okay, and we smoked a belt. So we're going to show you the belt changing tool you'll find on our website, and then the factory OEM belt with part number. Eventually we will have belts available on our website as well. Okay, so this is the belt changing tool that you'll need. These three big bolts are going to go into the clutch, and that is what essentially releases all the pressure, allows you to change a belt. You'll need those with you when you're out on a ride, and you'll need an extra belt. This is the factory Kawasaki belt. We're just going to put a factory belt back on it until we have some aftermarket belts that are better. So for now, we'll put the new factory belt on it. So that is part number. You can screenshot that if you need to. Okay, and it is directional. So you will see some arrows. Those go towards the front of the vehicle in the direction of the clutch. Okay, now we got our tools and our belt. I'll bring you over and show you the clutch housing area and the cover that needs to come off. Okay, so here we are at the back of the Kawasaki. It's on the back left-hand side, and we have the CVT belt and clutch cover all right here. So these are going to be 10mm bolts. You're going to need a socket. Once you get them loose, you can use a drill. Just want to be careful. I would never screw them back in with a drill. You don't want to strip anything, but you can zip them out. Those 10mm bolts go all the way around. So there's a total of 10 bolts that you're going to need to remove. So let me get that off, and then I'll show you how to get this clutch cover off of here. And remember the orientation of your heat shield. You can even take a permanent marker and draw an arrow on it pointing up, just so you know which way it goes. But don't forget that it has to be in there, this little shield right here. Just wanted to pause the video and let you guys know we do have an article on our website. I'll put a link in the description below that shows you the proper way to break in the belt and run it through its heat cycles before operating the machine under high load and high stress. So I'll put that in the description below. So make sure you read up on that. It's very important stuff. You don't want to end up blowing up a belt like I did. Okay guys, so once you have the clutch bolts out, the clutch cover bolts out, all 10 of those bolts, basically the clutch cover, the easiest way to get it out is to pull it outward and down and through the suspension. So see if I can do it. We're in a tight little space here, but we gotta get this last top bolt out. That's just holding it up there. There it goes. When you're putting it back in, that is the easiest way to do it, is to set it back up there and get that one bolt in. Okay, so now, remember there's no belt on here because our belt has left the chat. So, we'll see what damage has been done, and we will fix it accordingly. There it goes, pretty easy to get out. We'll set that aside. There is a little rubber seal on the other side of it. You'll make sure that's not damaged. You'll make sure you put it back in place. I kind of show you guys that rubber seal. You see it's hanging out there. So we'll clean it up. Looks like it's still in good shape. And it gets stuffed back in this little groove, and that locks itself into this groove. So you can see, looks like we have cracked the little housing and absolutely annihilated the belt. So we're gonna have to clean up those sheaths really good with some brake clean or acetone. We're gonna have to make sure we get every single little piece out of this clutch pulley when we use our tool to spread these holes open. Okay, so we will come back and get this cleaned up, and we'll continue the video from there. Okay, so now we got that cover off of there, you can see we broke the little housing. That is a air guide. That's a piece of plastic that goes behind the clutch assembly here. So we will have to replace that. We're still going to show you how to change a belt here when that piece is available. Right now it's on back order. And that is this whole plastic housing back here behind here. Okay, and that has to come off. Everything has to come apart. So it is what it is. We're going to show you how to change a belt here anyway. We are needing to clean this. You can see it's very dirty. Hey, that's typical if you destroy a belt. That's going to come into a million pieces and wrap around everything. We need to get this off of here. We cannot move forward until we get that off. So we may have to remove the clutch up here. So we will inspect the primary, make sure everything's good. Take a look at the secondary, make sure everything's good before we start putting a new belt on it. And we'll use some acetone and brake clean and a Scotch-Brite and get these sheaths all cleaned back up. We may need to spread this out. Obviously, we don't have a belt to take off here because it exploded, but we may need to spread these out. Your tool goes in these 3 holes and turn them evenly all the way around. Work your way all the way around until it is spread out all the way. Okay, don't use an impact. Do it by hand. All right, so we'll do all that, get them all cleaned up, and then we'll get that new belt on. You will need this spread out when you put the belt on. Okay, and then if the car is in neutral without the e-brake on, then you should be able to spin this freely. Okay, so the car's in neutral. You can see here, we can spin this. So everything should spin. Just want to make sure the car's not in gear or anything like that. So it is what it is. Let's get it all cleaned up and get a new belt on here. Okay, so now we got the clutches, the sheaths all cleaned up. Acetone, brake clean, little Scotch-Brite pad. They're all cleaned up. They look really good. So now we're going to get our belt on there. Remember, it's important to keep your belt clean. We want the arrows pointing forward. It says Kawasaki to the outside. So we should be able to grab it. And we should be able to just walk it on right here, like so, okay? So let me walk it on there real quick. Yep. So we should technically be able to walk it on to this upper clutch. So make sure it doesn't get hung up. And then just make sure it's nice and loose in there. That's how it should be. And then double check your directional arrows. It says Kawasaki right here to the outside. I can see my arrows pointing forward. Clutch is going to spin up like this. So that's what we need to do. Now we need to back these out a little bit at a time, even pressure on each of them. And then we will get that off there. We'll leave the cover off for a minute. And then we will start the car up and move it back and forth just a little bit to make sure clutch is engaging and everything looks right. Inspect everything, put the cover back on, put your 10mm bolts back in. Remember, these are 11mm, 10mm. As long as you got these with you and a 10mm and 11mm and new belt, you should be able to change the belt when you're out on the trail. You'll find these on our website, it's BLRTUNING.co. There'll be a link in the description below. Let me get this back together. Okay guys, so one thing important to note, I got the bolts out, the belt's pinched. As long as you have it in high gear, this won't spin on you, right? That's how you lock this up so you can adjust your bolts. But now we put it in neutral. Go ahead, neutral. Okay, now it's in neutral. We should technically be able to walk our belt up out of there, right? And when we start it, what we want to see is the belt all the way outside. Now you can see here, the belt is starting to come out. And that's what we want to see. We want to see the belt start riding up on the sheaths. Don't get your fingers in there, but that's what you want to see, is that belt coming up before you go starting the car. Like that. All right, that's about where we want to see it. Wider belts will run a little higher up, but we'll go start the car and we'll see what it does when it's in neutral, and then put it in gear, make sure it goes backward and forward. Okay guys, so now we have moved the car forward and reverse just real slow. Make sure you try four-wheel drive, high, low, make sure everything is working, you don't got no clunking, make sure everything is, nothing's broken other than your belt, right? And you can see where this sits. So inside of the actual primary, you can see there's a piece inside there. You got that right? Okay. That piece inside there is not spinning. The piece right in the middle. It's sitting stationary. So that is on needle bearings, and that is allowed to just sit there and spin. So you're not wearing out your belt right now by sitting here like this. Okay? That's how it operates. So now I'll let you guys see what happens when we go forward and reverse. So basically those clutch arms, they open up and push against the belt, which causes the belt to go, the pulleys to go, or the sheaths to come in up here and forces pressure on here. The higher RPM, the further that belt rides down on there, and that's how you have your gear reduction. So I'll show you reverse. Okay, so we'll put our, that's how it operates. Pretty simple little system. It's just got a lot of moving parts. And we'll put the clever back on, and I think she's ready to rip. Obviously, this is for video's sake showing you guys this, but we're not going to be running it until we fix that right there. We got to put a new piece back there. But just wanted to show you guys how to do the belt changing tool, blrtuning.co. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.